Hey guys, how's it going? Kevin Cleary here with a knife video for you, and today I want to talk again a little more about the Spyderco sprint run of the Stretch 2 straight spine. There's a couple of reasons I want to bring this up. One, I don't think the Stretch gets enough love. Two, there's a rumor that this may become the standard version of this knife. And three, I want to ask if that happens. There's been a lot of comparison between this and the Para 2, and I believe rightly so. You can see the similarity pretty obviously there. And so here's the last thing, and one of the driving forces behind this video. If someone were to ask me to recommend a Spyderco for EDC, immediately two knives would be brought up. First would be the Para 2, second would be the Manix 2. And there are a number of, in various forms. My favorite happens to be the lockback, but there are a number of, options, the lightweight and the standard version and, some older ones with saber grinds. And there are lots of Manixes out there. Okay, so these would be my go-to recommended Spydercos, and they still are. I mean, these knives are really, really obvious choices for most people who are looking for a well-made, high utility, good functioning, comfortable folding knife. All right. But my question is, given that the Stretch, especially with the redesign, sort of captures all of the key features of a great Spydie, okay? And if you think about it, it's attractive, it's got the right size, it's got the right blade, there really is a lot to recommend the Stretch. Is it enough to say, yeah, this has to be included with these guys as, sort of most recommended Spyderco? Or do these guys still hold the crown? And we could debate between these two, and I think I actually have a whole video, and I maybe should reassess because it's been a while since I made that video. But let's take these guys out of the way for a second and make a couple of quick points about this. So first of all, great size and weight, slim, good ergos, good cutting blade. All right, so the Stretch, let's start off, do a quick rundown of size and weight on all these. So Stretch is 8 3/16 on the blade. 8 3/16, I'm sorry, overall, 3.5 inches on the blade, 4 3/4 inch handle, 3 7/8 inches of grip area, and 3.7 ounces. If we move over to the Para 2, we've got 8 1/4 inches overall, 3 7/16 on the blade, so just a hair under 3.5 inches, 4 3/4 inch handle, 3 7/8. 3.5 inches grip area. Now that's one point to notice. Notice the grip area between these two is going to be smaller on the Para. It's down to about 3.5 plus that choil, of course, with the choils here as well. And the Para is going to weigh 3.9 ounces, so under 4 ounces. Finally, if we bring in the Manix here, there we go. The Manix is going to be 8 inches exactly, 3 3/8 on the blade, 4 11/16 on the handle, 3 11/16 grip area, so more than the larger Para 2. And this one, the Manix 2 lockback, weighs a little more at 4.3 ounces. There are going to be other versions. The standard version with stainless steel liners weighs in at 5 point something ounces, and then the lightweight is going to be 2 point something ounces. Okay, so Let's move the Stretch to the middle since it's supposed to be the star of this show. All right, so all of these have choils here so you can choke up a little bit. All of them have very, very good ergos. And I will say that stands out about all these. They all feel great in hand. Now, I once had someone argue with me that the Para 2 is not a comfortable knife. I don't know. The only thing I can say is that guy probably didn't have hands. Maybe he was like a lobster person and he was trying to grip the knife with his claws and it didn't feel comfortable. But I think to any human person with hands, the Para 2 is going to be very comfortable. All right. So very, very comfortable knives, great ergonomics, great cutting power. Now, obviously the big difference here is going to be action. These have a lot of similarities. Let's move into the action a little bit before we get into the blade steel discussion. Action is going to be different on these for sure. So compression lock is a fantastic lock, or I've got to start modifying that, guys, by the way. This is a bit of an aside, but I think the compression lock is a great lock on the Para 2, and the Para 2 is just a fantastic implementation of that lock. There are other knives that have a compression lock that I don't like at all. In fact, I find especially the Tai Chung Spydercos tend to get this wrong pretty consistently. Okay, moving over to the Manix, normally it's got a ball lock. Of course, this one has the lock back. Very, very smooth, very enjoyable lock back. Pretty strong, right? This is hefted up. Look how thick it is. You know, this is definitely a big, heavy-duty lock back. And then here we have the standard, you know, sort of Endura Delica type of lock back from Spyderco. Fairly easy to deploy, I would point out here. Hold on. Wow, on camera I can't do this. I can't Spidey flick it. There we go. I can thumb flick it. I don't think I can thumb flick the Manix. Let me just give it a quick try. I know I can't Spidey flick it. I might be able to thumb flick it. No, I can't thumb flick this either. And then of course the Para is definitely going to be more fidgety. I can Spidey flick it, I can thumb flick it, or I can roll it open. Okay, so in terms of, you know, how enjoyable the action is on each of these, you know, the compression lock is the nicest for fidgeting with. Otherwise, they're all quite good. And I don't know if it's going to be every single stretch, but the other stretch I had was good, but not as nice as this. This one's very smooth, very clean, very well broken in. So there are definitely going to be some significant differences in action, and maybe for some of you out there the compression lock does it and you go, nope, the compression lock is perfect. That's the main thing I look for, and if that's you, then obviously the Para 2 is the clear winner here, and the other two here are just not going to compete. For others, it's going to be the ball lock. I would what would you say, simplify this comparison by saying this is the most fidget friendly, this is the strongest, and this is the easiest in terms of, you know, if you have poor, you know, if you struggle with finger strength or something, this is a very, very comfortable, easy to deploy knife. All right. Now the big thing missing here is a higher end steel. So we've got S30V and S110V. We've got a bunch of options here. This happens to be the S35V and Sprint. There are tons of Sprint runs on both of these, as well as on the Stretch, by the way. But if, you know, this version, the original version is in, or the original Sprint run with the straight spine is in VG10. Okay, so VG10 is definitely a step down from these two steels. I suspect, though, that if there were, you know, other versions made, they would be in, you know, various different steels, or at least it would become available in various different steels. Okay, so we've got better steel. VG10 is still quite fine. The Stretch is designed, we're told, around the hand of the blade. It's actually designed to be a hunting knife, and you can see it's got quite a bit of belly out there for skinning type of tasks. All right, well, these two were not quite in that realm. Well, you know, Paramilitary 2 designed based on the military, kind of a shrunken down version of it. And so we've got knives here that are all comfortable, all cut really well. You know, all just very, very nicely done everyday carry knives. The question, I guess, becomes, is the Stretch as comfortable, as well designed, as versatile as these other two options? And I've got to say, in its current variation, not quite there, very close. But let's talk about this for a couple of minutes. Okay, the Manix here, out of these three, the Manix is the most comfortable. It really is fantastic. I love the way the Manix fits in the hand. The Para 2 and the Stretch are very similar. Both are quite comfortable, and certainly if you compared, you know, a bunch of various EDC options, these would all do very well in comparison to sort of the larger market out there. Of course, the Manix has the shortest blade. The Stretch and Para 2 are virtually the same. Okay. The Para 2 does add, you know, the coolness of the lock, some nicer materials in certain cases, and again, that great implementation of the compression lock. Okay, so does the Stretch 2 belong at the table, or should it be kind of relegated to the next tier down? And here's what I would have to say. I would say the Stretch 2, especially the straight spine, is sort of the best of that lower tier. It really, really is a great knife, and it's certainly one I would recommend and look for above, say, the Endura Delica, that line of knives, or a lot of other, you know, Spydercos that are, you know, with the FRN bidirectional texturing. However, there is one important qualification that I think I have to make here, and that is if they did a version of this knife like this, okay, with some beefed up components, thicker handle material, better steel. If they just kind of took this exact construction and made this knife here, that would be, I think, a huge, huge win. And of course, offer it in some kind of cool steels. That would also help the discussion quite a bit. So yeah, that's my thought on the Stretch True straight spine. Is the straight spine an improvement? Yes, it is. Is it such a big improvement that it makes it a competitor to these two? No, I don't really think so. Certainly, I think this knife is probably a better option. At least, certainly, I find it more attractive, more ergonomic, and more interesting than the Endela, Endura, and Delica. And of course, that would include a bunch of other, there's some smaller knives as well that I'm not really including in the discussion here. But it doesn't quite get to this tier. Okay, so that's my thoughts on the Stretch 2 straight spine. It's a great knife, really, really cool option. I'm really stoked to have one and be able to kind of get to know about it and to bring you guys this content, because these were not around long and they were pretty hard to get your hands on. However, if that changes and these become sort of regular production, then there's going to be a lot of people looking to know, whether they should buy this. And I will say this, guys. This is very, very close to these two. Yes, if they're priced at the same price as like the Endura, then you would save some money in comparison to these, and that's probably worth it, because out of all those options, this is the closest to these two. And if it's $40 or $50 or $70 less, that's a very, very compelling option. Okay, so I guess that's the last point that I should talk about is price point. I think these were like $115 when they first came out. They're going to go a little bit more than that on the secondary market these days because of the rarity. However, if these come out and they sell for the same price as an Endura, what's that, like $65, I think, then yeah, for $65, you're getting a fantastic knife. And in my perfect dream world, we'd get one with these materials. And I know there is already a G10 lockback stretch out there with stainless steel liners. I think this would be an even better option than that. All right, thanks a lot for watching, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Go ahead and check out DLT Trading. I haven't recommended them in a while, but shopping there is a huge benefit to the channel. As always, guys, every time, even when I recommend channel sponsors, it's because they help the channel. And because there's a discount code, I think that makes them very, very competitive. However, if you can find the knife somewhere else, I once had someone complain that, you recommend DLT and they don't always have the best prices. Well, I'm expecting you to be an adult with your money and get the best deal for, whatever you're buying. All right, but if DLT has the best deal and you can shop there using the link that I've provided, then it does help the channel a lot, and then it ends up that we both win. All right, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll talk to you soon.